Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. Here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, we are on part 2 of definitions and terms that you're going to want to know, and phrases, whether you're sitting at ringside, sitting in the booth, sitting behind a curtain, or sitting out in your car, or sitting right there watching Chaos Corner here on Guardian of Chaos YouTube. We're halfway through. This is part 2. Like I said, go back and check it out. I got a little soothing, a little Ricola for the throat for part 2. Who else? One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog, can talk for half an hour to an hour, 3 hours, back-to-back shows, events, podcasts, reality TV, unedited, unscripted, unique, one man, right here on Chaos Corner. So welcome back. We went from A through J in the first part. Now we'll go from J to Z of the terms and definitions that you're going to want to know, whether you're a smark, a fan, a historian, whatever it is that you want to call yourself. A mark? That's right. I said it. A mark. This is what you're going to want to know here at Chaos Corner. Follow me on all social media platforms. You know what they are. At Big Daddy GOC on Twitter, and the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, there's 2 accounts. That's right, there's 2. J Brony and Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Follow me on Gitter, Gab, Truth Social. I cover it all in the IWC, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact, MLW, the NWA, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Beyond, Wrestle Open, House of Glory, Test of Strength, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Coliseum. The list goes on and on and on of what we do here in the IWC for you, the fans. Thanks for being here. Get us to the subscribers. Let's go live. Let's take over the IWC. All right, fans, we're off all the other social media platforms. Let's jump right back into it. The first episode here on the terms you're going to need to know in this pro wrestling industry. We went about 40 minutes, 37 minutes. Let's see what we can do here. We left off on hooks and hookers and heat and hard-way juice. Those are the things that we left off on part 1. A very entertaining part 1, if I will say. Stand by, fans. So you see that I got the huge notebook, right? Water with lemon on one side. You never know what's going to happen in this crazy world. I'm trying to stay in the best shape, mentally, physically, emotionally, and especially spiritually. On the other side, we got the coffee and honey. So let's take care of ourselves and each other. Tomorrow's not guaranteed for anyone. Part 2, and I said a lot of this in part 1, so go back and on letting you know who I really am and where things really go here at Chaos Corner, besides pro wrestling and sports entertainment and comedy and laughter and being a stress reliever. Things are getting serious here in 2023. Let's pay attention. Let's stay awake. Let's stay in faith, not fear. And here we go. Speaking of hot hooker, hot tags, I want a hot tag on that one. A tag team strategy often used in matches between heels and faces. The heels pulverize the smallest face, angering his partner, who is unable to get into the ring until he is tagged. The ref is distracted from the action by the gyrations outside the ring. Then, beaten nearly unconscious, the lesser face leaps across the ring to tag his partner. The partner proceeds to clean house in a triumphant victory. That's the hot tag. The house. We've talked about this before. The speculation and spectators at a match, usually made up mostly of marks. We've broken down and talked about marks. We'll get onto that later on. But as I said, putting asses in seats and getting the house. We've talked about that and how important it is, not only for the fans, not important how much it is for the product and the workers and the promotion and the company. It's entertainment, but looking to make money so you can bring back that entertainment. And that's really what it's all about. There's enough for everybody. Let's not forget the house and supporting everyone. Support the independents as well. Big. That's where everyone goes to when they want a payday or on their way out, and where everyone has to earn it on their way in. Remember that. I've said it 1,000 times about looking in the rearview mirror and respect and going forward to the front windshield. And about respect. You guys know where I stand. And if you don't, I don't know what you're doing here on this channel. Job. We talked about things like that as well. A wrestler's defeat in a planned match. A clean job means to beat a wrestler with a legal submission. Sometimes a job can be described by the way it was performed, such as a rope job, a tights job. And I talked about it's not always about going over, it's about getting over, as I ramble and stumble and rumble and bumble and humble here. I don't want to talk about the Bully Ray comment and what he said to me back in 06, 07, because if you don't know it yet, I don't know what you're doing here. That's my regular quotes. And I don't want to have to say it again. Bully Ray, Busted Open Radio. Go back and check it out. So that's what we're talking about with a job and jobbers and ham and eggers. It was all twisted in part one. A jobber. And we were talking about a ham and egger and enhancement talent. Jobber, doing a job, going over, getting over. That's what we're talking about here on Chaos Corner for the first part of this. Things you're going to need to know behind the curtain, behind the booth, ringside, or behind your sister's ass. Well, what do you know what I'm talking about? A wrestler who loses on purpose to make other wrestlers look good. New wrestlers just breaking into the business almost always spend some time as jobbers until they build a fan following, or AKA putting asses in seats. Or the promoter isn't playing politics and will give you a push, or, you have the talent. So a jobber, that's not a bad thing. That's a great term, especially if you're from the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s. How many proud jobbers, ham and eggers, guys want to call it enhancement talent. Just different time, different stories. This is over 2 decades ago. I already told you that. A match made in heaven. Captain Lou Albano and Burt Randolph Sugar, along with the GOC. It's me. I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Let's move forward to the task at hand. Juice. We already talked about this. And no, not Orange Cassidy with that dumb gimmick. He could wrestle, but get rid of the gimmick, man. Come on. Blood drawn during a match when blading is used. Kayfabe, as I always say, kayfabe and kayfabed again. One of my favorite words, and there's not enough kayfabe here in 2023. A private language used in wrestling, originated by carnies. Go back to part 1 as I broke down the term in the language of carnies, like Pig Latin. It allows people who use it to speak in public about secrets or tricks of the trade without worrying that anyone who overhears them will understand what's being said. Kayfabe. Kayfabe again. Kayfabe come back when kayfabe was real. Now there's no kayfabe. Good thing or bad thing, it's up to your call. I'm not forcing my opinion on anyone. Kayfabe. Kill. That's right, I said it. When the fan loses enthusiasm for a wrestler, the heat dies down. Wrestlers who do a lot of jobs suffer from this loss of drawing power. Let that marinate. Also, if matches constantly have endings that are unclear and who won or lost, people still not be drawn to matches, and the industry loses money. To kill a territory, to kill a town, to kill an arena, to kill a venue, to kill a worker. You guys understand the term of that here, not the literal dying. So no copyrights, no algorithms. This is parody sports entertainment, but this is what it is in the pro wrestling world, to kill something. This is what you learn here on this channel. Let's move on. That's right, old school. I lick the fingers. How about that? Finger licking good. Here on Chaos Corner. A ladder match. Pretty self-explanatory. Legit. The real thing. A match is legit if there are no tricks involved. When shooters wrestle, the action is legit. Loaded. See, I took out the cough drop and look what happens. Loaded. Everyday items that have supposedly been altered for use as a weapon in the ring. For example, a Lotus tennis racket a la Jim Cornette that could fell a 350-pound man, or a loaded briefcase used to smash in an opponent's face. The alteration is often signaled by making the item oversized. Money in the Bank. Hello? McFly? I already did Bueller in the first part. A lumberjack match. We don't have enough of those. I remember those back in the day as a kid, in the 70s. A match designed to finalize a feud that fails to come to a conclusion due to frequent double disqualifications via countout. The ring is surrounded by neutral wrestlers who are interested to throw anyone who comes out of the ring back in again. A lumberjack match, kind of like the lumber yards up in Canada or the Pacific Northwest. Not enough of those used today, and again, a lot of these matches and terms that I'm giving out to you fans here today, and I've done it once before here in the over 2.2 thousand videos here on the channel, I've said to you, not only are they simple and self-explanatory, but a lot of these are different terms and definitions and matches that were used to further something. Not the first match or the second match. This is the culmination or the big point of a feud. And a lot of that is lost here in 2023. Just my opinion. A mark. That's right. I said it. A mark. Well, hey, listen, I was a mark at one time. I still am. I wouldn't be doing this show with chains wrapped around my body. Or maybe I would be. A fan who believes everything he sees in the ring is real, and at one point or another, most of you, 99.9%, were marks if you're a fan. Tell me when I'm lying. Somebody tell me? Leave a comment. No disqualification match. That's pretty self-explanatory. A match when the winner must pin his opponent, make him submit by any means possible. Even cheating is allowed, and you know what I say. Non-title match, we know what that is. That's self-explanatory. Paper. Free tickets given to fans for a match, usually done to fill an arena before a television taping, a la AKA the comp ticket. And man, are there a lot of sons of bitches out there that want paper. A lot of people out there, whether you're locally, countrywide, certain territories, big events, the big boys, music industry, TV, entertainment, sports, pro wrestling, even down to the locals. A lot of people expect and think they deserve paper. Comps. You let the owner promoter decide that instead of thinking self-entitled and privileged. And there's a lot out there of different races, colors, creeds, genders, and cultures. So you fucking get it, right? Put down your money, put asses in seats. Let's roll. Pin. Forcing an opponent's shoulders to the mat and holding them there for a 3 count by the ref. Matches are won by pinning the opponent 1, 2, 3. How many licks to get to the center of a Charms Tootsie Pop? Said the owl. 1, 2, 3. I don't know how that looks as a visual. 3, says Charlie the Owl. 3 licks to get the center of a Charms Blow Pop. I'm just flashing back here. This is what you get here on this channel. Pop. The sudden rush of enthusiasm as a popular wrestler enters the ring, or when a dramatic move is made. There's nothing like that pop, man. It's pretty self-explanatory. A pinfall, self-explanatory, a fall that results in a pin. 3 counted pin. If you're King Kong Bundy, a 5. That's right, a 5 for Bundy. Post. Slamming someone into the ring post, the corner of the ring, the metal, you guys get it. You've been there live, you've seen it. Self-explanatory. I'm just helping you along and reading what it says and then giving you my twist and things that I think I know you guys are going to get. And I don't need to explain it to you because you're smart and knowledgeable if you're here on Chaos Corner. Part 2 of things you're going to need to know once you step into that arena. In any capacity. Potato. I've given a few potatoes. Oh, that was only a mistake, man. It was a work. I apologize. You guys are ready. I've certainly taken some potatoes. Do you guys like red-skinned or the more bronze-skinned potatoes, or even the sweet potato? What do you like, potato or potato? Potato. A head injury caused either by a direct hit or a crash usually results in a black eye, so jobbers have to be careful not to potato the main face accidentally, or for you not to get potato right from the beginning of the rip. AKA Mario Mancini and David Schultz in the 1980s. Providence Civic Center. It's on YouTube. Owner of PAPW, Mario Mancini. I don't think there's anything I've missed thus far. Talked about comps and paper. Put your money down, man. Support somebody. You have to be a jock strap your whole life. Ref bump. A planned strategy that eliminates the ref by knocking him out when he accidentally gets in the way. While the ref is unconscious, all kinds of hijinks could happen in a ring without being regulated. I'd like to say chicanery. Ring boy. A punk. That's all I'm going to say. Ring boy. A punk. Ring rats. Ring rats. You guys take that how you want. I'm giving you the way it's written. Anything that I've said here is out there publicly. If you do your due diligence, your research, you can find out for yourself, not the stories or my take on it, because that's my own life experiences of wisdom of my over 50 plus years as a fan, a researcher, an agent, a scout, a historian, a talent, a commentator. That's right, a smark, a mark. I said it again, a mark. Wrestling groupies who often come as families. And many, many other words, and you could research it and go out and watch shoot videos. Big Daddy, the Guardian of Chaos, will tell it like it is here on my platform, on my channel about ring rats. Me personally, seen a lot, known a lot, but I was never big on partaking because I was usually in the company of either the responsibility of being with the boys to keep everybody reined in tight because I was the older, much more wisdom guy who had also been behind the walls for many, many years, if you know what I'm talking about. So a lot of people looked up to me, so I had to kind of rein them in and roll them in. So sometimes I was not involved and privy to that kind of lifestyle. I would either be escorted by somebody, myself, who was a personal involvement, a friend or a relative or a family member or someone that would take my stuff along with me. There were many of those. But as far as ring rats, the Guardian of Chaos was not involved in a lot of that. Get no offense against anybody who was or did. I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, I know a lot. I'm going to keep it at that because what happens here at Chaos Corner stays in Chaos Corner. And I'll say that to say this. Wrestling groupies who often come as families. Listen, it could be sweet, sweet Connie who's doing it right. Whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever industry you know, that I was involved in the music industry as well, private bodyguard, personal security, pro wrestling, law enforcement. You know the different things that come along and the way you have to handle things. It's all about situational awareness. It's all about being in the moment, and it's all how you react to things. Let that sink in. Ring post, different from ring rats. Let's move on to another subject here. We are 18 minutes in. We're moving right along. You guys are going to get 2 excellent shows out of this. New lighting, new camera. Again, we've added different sounds. I get it. It is what it is. But, hey, it's free. Ring post. We know. Another word for the turnbuckle, but it is different. There's the ring post and there's the turnbuckle. So they're really 2 different terms. That's why you come here to Chaos Corner. The run-in. What happens when wrestlers, managers, or others who are not a part of the match lump in and jump in and join the fight? There's a lot of that going on in certain companies, that's for sure. And to me, that gets old very fast. I talked about in part 1, whether it be blading. I'm not talking about juice and getting busted open the hard way. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that do the same moves, the same type of matches on the same card, the same event, match after match, or night after night, or town after town. It becomes repetitive. It becomes a mistake. It doesn't become special when the top guys are the main event, or even when you do it yourself. Always keep that in mind. I don't think today's group of guys who are super talented take unbelievable risks. I don't think they do. I think there's some workers on the independent scene across this country that are as good, if not better, than guys that are under contract in the big companies. I'll say right now, the big 2, although there's choices of 4, 5, 6 different companies, depending on what kind of contract you're looking for. But we'll say the big 2 that are really doling out the money. And nothing's guaranteed, just like life isn't guaranteed. So we talked about different things. We talked about the potato. We talked about the ring boy, not CM Punk, just ring boy Punk. I'm going to leave it at that. Do your research. Ring rats, no disrespect, to each their own. We talked about the run-ins. We're going to talk about the save as we talk about the run-ins. What a segue here on Chaos Corner. A run-in is to stop any action that erupts between foes after a match is over. A scaffold match. One of the best ever, the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express. Man, that was one of the ages in the 80s. One of my favorites of all time. Scaffold match. Self-explanatory, a lot of these, and I know that from my audience. A match that takes place on various contraptions up in the air and in which wrestlers have to climb, fight, and sometimes fall to their doom. Ask Jim Cornette. Ask Jim Cornette. That's right. I said it, corny. Ask Jim Cornette about scaffold matches. Ask Jim Cornette about the Road Warriors and Midnight Express way up on top of them skyscrapers and how Big Bubba didn't catch you, Jim Cornette. Drop to the left and roll. You gotta catch you first, corny. You let them sons of bitches, you let Brian Last know that I'm out back. I got the Omaha Steaks. I got the Sprite Zero. Tell Travis Heckle to let me in. And we will discuss further the scaffold match and the different things that you and I have talked about, including the several dates that we've worked together here in the Northeast area, which I know you hate, corny. But I'm listening to your show. We don't agree on everything, but I agree with you on a lot of things when it comes to this industry and this business. We have a lot in common, Cornette. So again, I got everything out back. Let me in. Brian, let me in. I brought everything. I brought something for you, too. All right, back on to what we're talking about. A match made in heaven. Burt Randolph, Sugar, Captain Lou Albano here on the Chaos Corner. A complete idiot's guide. No offense to anybody out there. Do I have any spittle? I noticed on the last podcast, not part 1, I had spittle. You guys said nothing to me. I had to figure it out for myself. Okay, excuse me. Again, this damn cough. It's like coming back. Allergies, I'm thinking here in the middle of the summer. What else could it be? Keep that in mind. Scientific wrestling. Old-style wrestling done as a sport rather than purely for entertainment. Scientific matches are those that are based on legit use of standard holds and moves and are conducted strictly according to Greco-Roman rules. They involve no flamboyant tricks or gimmicks. A technical match. There's nothing like a nice scientific match. I can appreciate it. Screw job. A match fought outside of the rules of wrestling. We all know the most infamous screw job of all. The Montreal screw job. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Vincent, and several others involved. So self-explanatory. You guys know that as fans of the IWC. To sell. You guys know what it is to sell. A lot of companies, a lot of styles. Maybe over there in the Orient, they don't always sell. Asia, you guys know what I'm talking about. Again, pardon me with the interruptions there. I have no edit button. I don't shut anything off. This is live, raw dog, raw tape, no editing. That's what you get here on this channel. Not sure what's going on. Maybe it's the weather. You guys hear the weather, right? All right, we already talked about sell. To convince the crowd of the superiority of an opponent. A jobber does this by reacting to moves with the proper enthusiasm and pain. A wrestler can have big problems if his opponent does not sell for him when he is supposed to. Go back and check out the Bruiser Brody and Ed the Bull Gantner video from NWA Florida, or from Florida Championship Wrestling. Bruiser Brody and Ed the Bull Gantner. No. Bruiser Brody and not Ed the Bull Gantner. He was on that card though. Lex Luger. Again, now I gotta say, Bully Ray said to me back in 06 and 07, you guys know who Bully Ray is. We got back to the locker room. He said, Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, He said, give him 5 spots and he'll fuck up 4 of them. I have to agree with that. I consider that to be a compliment. But now you get what he's saying. Nobody's perfect. The big guy, he's already sacrificed for me. I've repented. I'm coming back, man, and everything. All forms and different ways of life. Let that sink in. So you guys know what I'm talking about here. To sell. Again, I'm going to say it again. To convince the crowd of the superiority of an opponent, a jobber does this by reacting to moves with the proper enthusiasm and pain. A wrestler can have big problems if his opponent does not sell for him when he's supposed to. Like I said about a lot of the Japanese stars, go back to Forbidden Door, other shows, Wrestle Kingdom, and then go back to Bruiser Brody and Lex Luger. Bruiser Brody and Lex Luger, Florida Championship Wrestling, NWA Florida. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Steel cage match. Luger and Brody. My mistake. Cut me some slack here. This is part 2. Unedited. Unscripted. A shoot. You guys know what that is? When someone's being honest, serious up front. Or a legitimate fight. A shoot. You guys all have been in shoots. At least I think most of you. I don't know. Maybe some of you haven't. I've been in far too many. A shooter. A wrestler who is skilled at making matches seem legit, even if they are originally meant a wrestler who only wrestled on the up and up. Up and up. The word derives from the phrase straight shooter. To be a shooter. I don't mean Kenny Rogers. I don't mean Clint Eastwood. I don't mean Jesse James or Wyatt Earp or any of the above. I'm talking about Lou Thesz and guys like that. A shooting match. What a great segue, right? A clean match, legit, also can be used to refer to a match that is fought without overt gimmicks or show trickery. Let's do this for real. Let's see who gets the best of who. A gentleman's agreement, so to speak, if you can do it that way. And let's see who the better grappler shooter is. Let's do it for real. Let's have a shoot. And there's guys that are shooters or hookers, as I said in part 1, you got to be careful of. And no. Not lot lizards. I don't want to disrespect anybody. Truck drivers, I love them out there. They keep this country running. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Shooters, hookers. You guys get it. This is pro wrestling. Squared circle. Another term for the wrestling or boxing ring. The squared circle, we all know that one. A squash match. A match between a superstar and a jobber. The jobber is completely dominated by the star. Had a lot of those in the 70s and 80s. They're bringing them back, so to speak, in 2023, but not as much. It's a place for them on every show and every card. There just is. It's the way pro wrestling is. You got to have them. A strap and a strap match. We know what those are. Very, very self-explanatory, especially if you used to get hit with the 3-finger strap as a young boy, like I did from the old man. The 3-finger strap, if you didn't stay in line. Let that sink in the 70s, what we put up with as kids, and you all bitch and moan now with your iPads and whatever, who you want to be and whatever color hair you have. Let that sink in. Stiff. Hitting hard even when the match is worked. Jobbers do not expect to be hurt much, and they hate it when they are stiff. Let's face it, a lot of people work stiff. Whether you're the Von Erichs or everybody in between, I'll just throw that name out there. First thing that popped in my head, split-second thinking. People that work stiff. Japanese style considered strong style, stiff. A lot of the Road Warriors worked stiff. You guys know what I'm talking about. A strap. And no, not the Indian strap match or the strap match that I said was self-explanatory. We know what a strap match is. You guys all know that. I don't have to go back and say it. A match which opponents are strapped together, chained or roped together, usually involves juice in the match. I'll break it down. Now we got the strap, which is totally different. A championship belt. He won the strap. He's going for the strap. He carries the strap. It's another word for title. One of Vince McMahon's banned words, the strap. You can't say strap. You can't say strap. Just like you can't say hospital. You gotta say medical facility. Who are you? Oh, wait, you're the owner. Okay, you pay my check. All right, we all have our standards and morals, though. Remember that. Stretch. Yikes. A type of shoot in which one wrestler dominates rather than injures another wrestler. You're going to stretch somebody. I'm going to stretch him in the ring. I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm going to stretch him. I'm going to do it for real. I'm going to make them feel the pain, to be stretched. You workers and talent that watch this show, you know what I'm talking about. For you fans, now you get it. You reporters, you get stretched. You've heard the term. That's what it is. I'll stretch you. Texas death match, pretty self-explanatory, but I'll run it down. A match with no rules. However, the booking might include some previously agreed upon rules, storyline telling, long-term story booking, in which what gimmicks might be allowed. For example, both wrestlers may be allowed to wear cowboy boots, but the heel's boot might be loaded. The match goes on until one wrestler is unable to continue a Texas death match. Again, as I've been saying, I'm old school, traditional. When you have emotional investment and storyline telling and ring psychology, that's something that's a culmination in a feud to me, or that you lead up to in a series of bouts. You don't just jump right into it or the second match. It's not how it works. That's how they do it in 2023, in my opinion. Feedback? Turn. Your turn, my turn. We all take a turn. Twist a hand. I don't know. She's like a doorknob. Everybody takes their turn. That's just a joke. It's a parody. It's a joke. You know, I do comedy here on the channel too. A turn. To change from a bad guy into a good guy or vice versa. Angles are often set up by turns. We know that. And I'm going to try to do some twists and turn shows. And the biggest tweeze as I twist and turn the chains around my neck here at Chaos Corner, because you know my past environment and how I live my life. We're all wrapped in chains one way or another. For all you panty wastes out there, you know what I'm talking about in life. We're all in chains. We're all slaves. So we know we're going to do a show about turns, the biggest turns in the history of all time in pro wrestling. So stay tuned for that. Turnbuckle. We already talked about turn post and turnbuckles, but I'll say it again. The padded posts that are set at four corners of the wrestling ring to which the ropes are attached, and that's why I said turnbuckles and the ring posts are not the same as the book. I'm not saying anything about Albano and Sugar. I'm just telling you. That's what they had for the term. For turnbuckle, like it was one, and I'm trying to tell you, in my experience, it's not. Work, which everything in 2023 nowadays, in my opinion, a lot of different things, and even this show to an extent, although we're much reality TV, reality show, everything's a work. Use your discernment. So this will be a little different term here. It can apply to different things in life as well, because I don't only just do here what I do is for pro wrestling and sports entertainment, and as a social media personality or whatever it is that I'm doing here, or as a stress reliever, or as a hobby, however you want to take it, hopefully as a living. It doesn't matter, because I'll do it anyway. Work. Sit back and think about that for a second here. 33 minutes in. Angels. So work. Sit on that for a minute. We got a couple minutes. We're just about done. Don't get worked. Don't be a victim. Have faith, as I've said, but I don't want to get too crazy. We'll do a podcast. We'll do a reality show. We'll do something here on the channel about faith. Work in the wrestling business. In the IWC, in the wrestling industry, in the pro wrestling world, any practice that is not legit, a match or an injury can be worked in order to give a wrestler some time off. An approximate, that's what we'll say for work, and what we'll throw out there besides the subliminal messages. And we'll finish this off with work rate, which we always talk about in pro wrestling, especially here in 2023. So we'll kick it up. Work rate. And we'll get the rate going here on Chaos Corner. Live to tape. An approximate ratio of good wrestling to rest holds in a match or in a wrestler's overall performance. We can even throw pacing in there. Work rate. Well, nowadays, and no matter who you listen to, they talk about the work rate of pro wrestling. So remember that. And as we kick back and relax and we wrap up here part 2, of our coverage, again, one of my many resources along with my history and knowledge and what you get here on Chaos Corner. This is part 2 of what you're going to need to know, whether you're behind the ring, at ringside, in the booth, behind the curtain, in the car, in the parking lot, listening on radio, watching on TV, alive, wherever it is that you're doing this, you're going to need to know these terms and definitions and what I'm talking about. And I'll give a big shout out to a complete idiot's guide of pro wrestling, a match made in heaven, Burt Randolph Sugar and Captain Lou Albano, and me, the GOC. I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Watch both parts, 1 and 2, and I'll be back with more content. Don't you dare miss it. Chaos Corner.